Why less is more in custom instructions? When using AI tools like Claude or ChatGPT, you can set custom instructions to personalize their responses. This lesson covers effective approaches to custom instructions and why minimal settings often work best. When you first start using AI, it's tempting to give them as much detail as possible in the custom instructions. You might think if I tell the AI exactly how I work, what I like, and how I want it to respond, I'll always get better results. But in reality, adding too much detail at the top level can actually make the AI less useful. Overloading custom instructions can lead to rigid responses, contradictions, and a lack of flexibility when switching between tasks. In this lesson, I'll explain why keeping top level custom instructions minimal is the best approach, and where you should put detailed, context specific instructions instead. So, most AI tools now allow you to customize how they interact with you. In ChatGPT, for example, you can set what it should know about you to provide better responses and how you'd like it to respond. And at first glance, this seems like a great way to make AI work exactly how you want. However, a mistake that many people make is trying to cover every possible use case in that top level set of settings. AI works best when it has some guidance, but too much upfront detail can actually limit its ability to be useful across different contexts. So, when you overload AI with complex instructions, three things can happen. First, it can lead to rigid responses. Instead of adapting naturally to different tasks, the AI forces all answers into a narrow framework, making it less flexible when you need different tones or styles. Secondly, it can create conflicting priorities. If you tell AI to always be concise, but in a prompt you also say to provide detailed explanation, which one should it prioritize? Overly complicated guidance can result in responses that don't quite fit what you actually need in that moment. And thirdly, it can cause unnatural sounding responses. AI models work by predicting the most relevant words based on patterns in data. But if they're overloaded with instructions, they sometimes overcorrect, making responses sound robotic, awkward, or overly structured. Instead of trying to control every aspect of AI's behavior at the top level, a better approach is to set evergreen high level preferences there and leave specific details for individual prompts or custom GPDs. So, what should go in top level instructions? What actually belongs in those top level custom instruction settings? Think about what applies across every conversation, no matter what you're asking AI to do. Good examples of top level instructions include who you are, a very short summary such as I work in education and create online learning materials. Language and formatting preferences. For example, a good one for us is to use British English spelling. And personalization that makes AI feel more natural to you. For instance, avoid using corporate buzzwords like delve or crucial in responses. And even basic tone preferences, such as provide clear, structured responses in a professional but conversational tone. That's it. If a piece of information doesn't apply to every interaction, it probably doesn't belong in the top level settings. So, where to store those detailed instructions instead? So, for more context specific instructions, there are better places to store them than the global top level settings. If you frequently ask AI for different types of tasks, such as writing reports, brainstorming ideas, or generating creative content, you don't need to include all of those details in the top level instructions. Instead, you could use custom GPTs for ChatGPT Plus or projects for Claude Pro users. So if you have recurring types of tasks, you can create a separate instance for each one, and each can have its own custom instructions. Saved prompts or templates. Instead of making AI remember everything at the top level, save detailed prompts that include necessary constraints, and that way you can pull them up as needed. Stored chats for Claude in the free version. If you've had a really useful interaction, you can save that chat so you can return to it easily. And projects folders for ChatGPT Plus customers. If you want AI to write in a humorous tone sometimes, you don't need to add that at the top level. Instead, you could just save a reusable prompt that tells it to use humour when needed. By keeping general preferences in the top level settings and specific instructions in your saved prompts or custom GPTs, you get the best of both worlds. AI that knows your preferences but remains flexible for different situations. So, let's think about putting this into action. I suggest that you open up your custom instructions in whichever tool you use, ChatGPT or Claude. Step 2, have a look at what you've written. Have you overloaded it with too many details? Does every single instruction really apply to every future conversation you'll have with AI? Step 3, simplify. Remove anything that isn't relevant to every single interaction and focus only on the essentials: who you are, your language and style preferences. And step 4, test your new setup. Try asking AI a few different types of questions and see if it responds more naturally. If you need extra guidance for a specific task, store that as a separate prompt instead. And remember, AI works best when you are clear and provide relevant context. So in this module, we've covered what custom instructions are and how they influence AI responses, and why keeping top-level instructions minimal leads to better flexibility, the difference between general preferences and context-specific guidance, and an introduction to how you can use things like custom GPTs and starred chats for more detailed instructions. Your action step now is to review your AI's top-level instructions and simplify them so that they only include your evergreen preferences. In the next module, we'll explore our experimentation and how to tweak and refine prompts for even better AI responses. See you there.